and welcome to Strange New Borgcast 3.2 with Anne-Marie and Peter and Snory Noisy Lila.
Hello! We've got some previously from Hegemony Part 2 from Jeffrey Mark Hyman. Much like the makers of Strange New Worlds, I also enjoyed the final mission in Mass Effect 2. And from Pieman, hold on, the collectors were more insect-like. The Gorn are lizards. It's totally different. I'm not sure if he's been sarcastic there or not, because, yeah, Mass Effect 2, I never got beyond the lift. Anyway, tonight we're covering Wedding Bell Blues. I mean, I'd probably rather be covering Mass Effect, to be honest, but there we go.
Science Officer's personal log, stardate 2251.7. After a 3-month billet, the battle scars of our encounter with the Gorn are all but erased. And while docked at Starbase 1, our crew prepares to celebrate a rare and joyous occasion. The wedding nuptials between myself and Nurse Chapel.
So the plot is basically, there's been a 3 months gap since the last episode. There's
some repairs going on with bloody droids that shouldn't be in Star Trek. Boo.
Anyway, I don't have your objections to the concept of droids in Star Trek. So.
I don't have a problem with it being an academy, which they are, but that's in the far future. That's fine. Although, again, it's supposed to be about human endeavour, not robots doing stuff for you. But at least there's some excuse. Them appearing in Strange New Worlds and indeed Discovery, because that's where they started appearing, makes no sense, because suddenly then they disappear by Next Generation, original series. Basically, the rest of the history of Star Trek forgets about them until we get to the far future. Makes no sense at all.
Right. Okay. Anyway, there's that. And I think the reason I'm not reacting to the droids is because that's just like really minor compared to the episode.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
In the grand scheme of things, I suppose. But it's like the opening scene is droids. It's like, oh, you're already yanking my chains. Really?
Fair enough. Anyway, in that 3-month gap, Chapel has done her 3-month fellowship and she's coming back and Spock's all excited to see her and he's like, oh, let's be romantic. And he has some dancing lessons with Lan, which comes into play later on. But Dr. Corby, who's now Irish when he wasn't in the original series.
Yeah. Killian O'Sullivan, a.k.a. Timu Colin Farrell.
He
was in Daredevil Born Again, apparently, which we never got round to seeing. But yeah, why has he suddenly become Irish? He won't be by the time we get to What Little Girl's Made Of. Baffled why they feel the need to make these changes. And all I want to do is watch In Bruges instead, to be honest. So.
Yes. So anyway, apparently they're now an item, so Spock is upset.
She moves fast, that girl, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And there's that awful scene later on where she says, yeah, I can't explain why it happened. It's like, well, if you can't, who can? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, there are some people who get cold feet around commitment, but also can't cope with being alone.
Okay. But I never got that impression from the original series. This is all out of nowhere.
No, I didn't either. But we don't get much of an impression of her in the original series.
No, but, I mean, she does seem pretty radically different, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, anyway. So that's the main thing, although you have also got in the background Ortegas doing the punch bag thing because of her Gorn experience, and you've got Batel is now better because Una's blood has worked its magic and the Gorn have been reabsorbed, huzzah, so she's starting to look at more ships. And then Our Flag Means Death, Do Your Tax Return man turns up.
Do your tax return?
He does an advert making sure that you do your tax return by the 31st of January.
Does he?
Yes, on he rides a bike and then he puts it in his pocket.
Why did they get I'm not sure if he's Australian or New Zealand, sorry.
I think he's a Kiwi.
Yeah.
But
so why is he doing our tax
I don't know.
He doesn't have to pay tax in this country, surely, unless he's suddenly become one of our nationals. But then he's appearing as the United States and thinks, oh, I'm very confused. Anyway, this is Rhys Darby. We know him best from Our Flag Means Death.
Yes, and an advert for
apparently an advert for taxes. But also, of course, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Quinn walked in halfway through us watching this episode, and every 5 seconds just said,
Welcome to Jumanji.
Yes, that is that actor, but you don't have to say that every 5 seconds. I mean, the episode's bad enough as it is. I mean, it's not like they ruined a good one anyway, I suppose. Yeah. But
anyway, he's the bartender. And he looks briefly Vulcan to Spock, so he doesn't look like him. So there's clearly already some kind of illusion going on.
Yeah, so it's not like he's briefly looking Vulcan to Spock. He's always looking Vulcan to Spock. And until he looks Andorian. because apparently he's playing two different characters, the barman and the wedding planner also. But it doesn't work because he just looks like Rhys Darby. Then again, you're not going to hire Rhys Darby and not make him look like Rhys Darby. So
yeah,
it's a weird concept.
it is. Anyway, he sort of asks Spock what he wants, and Spock's like, I just wish things could be different. So he gives him a funny cocktail, and he looks really funny.
It's got like red grit in it.
Oh, yeah.
That's never good.
Doesn't look nice. Anyway, so then Spock goes to bed on his own, wakes up with Chapel next to him, and instead of it being like the very first log, which was it's been 3 months, we're celebrating Federation Day, it's been 3 months and it's going to be their wedding. And then all sorts of hilarity ensues. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's good. Hilarity, yeah.
Dr. Corby is initially the only one who knows, but then Spock punches him and then Spock knows too. I think that's as much as Ortegas has a brother whose name I don't remember.
Beto, apparently, but I don't think it's ever said, is it?
Oh, no, I don't know.
He's played
Betamax, right.
Betamax says he's played by Minor Lucan.
Okay.
It's one of 2 acting roles he's had. I mean, he's only a baby.
Yeah, he's quite young, so...
But, guess what this series needed? Another love story! Oh.
So, he and Uhura have got the hots for each other.
And the reason for this is Celia Rose Gooding wanted Uhura to have some romance.
Okay.
Wow, so that was a reason to do it, wasn't it?
Anyway, he's a journalist, so there's cameras and shit.
Yeah, we're getting on to Babylon 5 territory here.
Yeah, have I actually missed out anything important?
Not much. Just let me review my notes here. There's a point right after the teaser where Beto and Ortegas are speaking Spanish. That doesn't work. There's supposed to be something called a universal translator. Makes no sense. But then again, they were inconsistent with Klingons before as well. Sometimes speaking English, sometimes Klingon. So you could argue.
And you've got that in Deep Space Nine when they use Bajoran words and they don't always translate them.
Occasionally, yes.
So I don't think you can. I don't think you can criticise Strange New Worlds for that.
There's some amazing Star Trek freestyle fashions going on with Uhura and Ortega wearing the most incredible clothing. But yeah, that is kind of in keeping with, off-duty Trek clothing for the era, so fair enough.
I mean, to be honest, the Uhura stuff kind of reminded me a little bit of a Jake bus seat onesie.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It was, of that standard, yes, which, again, fits, so fair enough. There's that scene in the bar where Sam is geeking out, being next to Timu bloody Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Which is sweet, but then you get Chapel mooning all over him, which is absolutely vomit-worthy. We have 2 scenes with topless Spocks, but no topless Chapels. I think this is unfair, and I'm going to be campaigning at this point for complete justice on this front.
You don't think that maybe it's the reverse of the original series and that we're there?
We didn't get any topless women in the original series?
No, but you got very nearly topless Orion dancers, didn't you? And various other women.
Yeah, but the only topless people in the original series was one Bill Shatner, and we rather wish he wasn't. Yeah. I'm not being serious about this, but it just really struck me as like, oh, really? We're doing this now, are we? Okay. The weird platform thing the wedding is going to happen on, which is in the rehearsal bit, in your bit, does it look to me like the Vulcan 3D chess set?
Oh.
That sort of free platform thing. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. If so, nice touch. And Corby is very precious about his doctorate, which just makes him seem like a knob. But there you go.
I think it's just because he knows that our flag means Death Tax Man. Is deliberately.
It's not the catchiest of names,
Jumanji
Man would have been quicker, but there we go.
I couldn't say that without mangling it.
Jumanji Man.
When do I stop? Jumanji.
Welcome to Jumanji.
I'm Jumanji Man. Yeah, no, that's wrong. Anyway, so Rhys Darby, fine.
Yes, for it is he.
Yes. What was I saying? He is deliberately
winding him up, so he's getting grumpy about not being called Doctor as a result of being wound up.
Yes, he's deliberately calling him Mister in order to wind him up, and that's what he's responding to. It's the teasing.
Yeah. But other than that, I have no more notes because, it's 15 minutes before the Squire of Gothos, which is what I'm going to be calling him because that's what he is, appears.
You're not calling him Our Flag Means Death Tax Man?
I'm not, because that is a mouthful. Plus, I never watched those tax adverts, so...
So you're going to have to find them now, aren't you, to put one of them up on...
Oh, well, that could be our advert break.
Oh, yes!
Sometimes running a business can feel like running a marathon in a desert through quicksand. But Zero accounting software can help keep your business finances running smoothly. Soon that marathon will feel more like a fun rush with a jetpack. Search Zero with an X, because healthy business is beautiful business.
Right. Spock finds Corby breaking into his quarters in order to delete the wedding vows. Which, wow. How's that going to stop the ceremony? I mean, just download Common Worship, for heaven's sake.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That is a bit of an in-church joke, but there we go.
I'm
allowed to drop those. Corby is aware that reality has shifted somehow when everyone else isn't. When he relates how he fell in love with Chapel, Spock punches him, which is way out of character. Like, what the hell? When he punches, so what's going on? For heaven's sake. Anyway, the Vulcan apologises and says he remembers now what the reality is. They reject various causes, then suggest an improbability field, which last calls them to sing. Yeah, we didn't need reminding of that, thank you very much. Corby humbly suggests his intellect stopped him from believing the changed reality. Wow. You've really got to wonder what Chapel saw in this a-hole. I mean, maybe she just has a thing for Colin Farrell and it was the nearest thing she could find. The Squire arrives with Spock's wedding togs, but they escape to the science lab to try and get to the bottom of things because we've got to use that science lab set. Science lag? Yeah. Science lab set, even.
Science slag.
They've built this set, they're going to use it, all right? Science slag.
Instead of selling my body for money, I'm selling my body for science.
Yes.
Science!
Well, some people would get off on that.
Yeah,
anyway.
New type of OnlyFans.
Yes. Woo.
Have you lost your place?
I have slightly, yes. That's Science slag.
The problem is in today's service that half the time that's all Stephen Cottrell just sounds like Ray Winston.
He does.
So there he is, the Archbishop of York.
I'm the Archbishop of York, I am. Have it!
Have it large. It's just hearing him pronounce all this technical legal language, and I just half the time wanted to either say have a banana or have him go your mother or something. Just.
So in order to explain all this, we have to explain that a certain person, Anne-Marie, was at the, what's the official title of it?
Confirmation of election of Sarah Elizabeth Mullally as the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury.
Ooh, look at you. And I've seen the service sheet. It looked, even for the Church of England, it looked absolutely bizarre. So there we go.
But now imagine somebody making like legal pronouncements.
What's the name of the actor? Ray Winston. Basically,
Ray
the Archbishop of York is Ray Winston, and it's really scary.
And it's just hearing somebody pronounce this really formal legal language, but sounding like Ray Winston. It was just.
Anyway, back to this rubbish episode. Sam turns up with wines to choose for the wedding, which obviously Spock can't drink, so that's a bit rude.
Yeah, why is he having a cocktail and all that stuff as well?
He's not supposed to be able to have alcohol, but never mind.
I was thinking that, and then I'm thinking, maybe I'm getting that wrong. Isn't that Minbari? I was convinced.
No, it is Vulcans as well, although I'm not sure if that wasn't actually spin-off novels rather than actual original series, but anyway.
Well, it was in Enterprise.
Yes, there you go.
With what's-her-face who's made of lips?
Jolene Balrog.
Jolene Balrog?
Balrog, yes, she was a Balrog. No, oh God, we're digging a big hole here. Let's get out of here. Spock tries to persuade him of reality to no avail and tries to get him to punch him, failing in that too. There you go, to see Pike, who's in his cool alt Captain Green. I do like that. Although I did notice this time that it's slightly different to the one that Shatner wore on the basis that it's quite baggy. Shatner's barely fit. Anyway, they've walked into Spock's stag do, apparently, which, again, is pretty unlikely. Even more unlikely, Scotty claims not to be a drinker. Obviously, something went wrong somewhere down the road.
But if you watch, because actually I like Scotty, and so I spent a lot of the time looking at him rather than anything else that was going on. And if you watch, he takes a bite of something, clearly doesn't like it. Yeah. So he reaches for the brandy to wash whatever this is that is eaten out of his mouth. And then, so either he was claiming not to be a drinker and he's just saying it when really he is, or this is the start of something as a result of him really not
this episode turned him on to the alcohol, I think, yeah. Corby manages to get the computer to do the maths to detect an extra presence on the ship, which I quite like, actually. That's good thinking. And they locate the Squire. They escape before Sam begins the karaoke, thankfully. Spock confronts the Squire about granting his wish, but he pulls a bit of a tantrum, clicks his fingers, and Spock wakes up in bed. Still refusing to go ahead, the Vulcan gets shrunk into a jar. and the safety of the rest of the crew is threatened. This is a very bad effect, by the way. At one point, it's clearly just a model in a jar that we're looking at. Some of it's like a shrunk CG, but some of it is a practical effect that does not work. Corby has been made the maid of honour, complete with flower garland. And ironically, he's one of the better dressed people at this wedding.
Oh, some of the outfits. Oh, the ones people who are in dress uniform, they're all right.
They get off lightly.
So what I want to know is, why is it... So Ortegas is in dress uniform.
Yes.
But Uhura
Isn't.
and Una
Yeah.
and Patel aren't.
Presumably you had a choice, but yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? I guess.
Okay. Dress uniform or...
Yeah. There's something about the planner wishing them all into a cornfield if he doesn't play along.
I don't know what that is.
I had to look this up. It's a reference to a 1960s episode of The Twilight Zone, starring, of all people, Bill Mumy.
Oh.
Yeah. But a tad obscure. I really want to know if anybody got this without looking it up. Do let us know. I mean, if it had been like that, is it The Twilight Zone that has the episode with Shatner and the demon on the wings?
There's someone on the wing. Something.
The other crew vary in their sartorial tastes. Some get off lightly, as we said, in their dress uniforms, including Scotty's complete with kilt, a la original series. That's in keeping. Very good. And Benga has a lovely Middle Eastern-looking green number. I like that.
I presume it's African rather than Middle Eastern.
Well, it looks Middle Eastern to me, but there is a bit of a sort of overlap sometimes, isn't there, in the styles? And it also made me think, ironically, of Dune, which he was in the original one. So yeah.
Oh, that's set in North Africa.
Yeah.
So it's probably North Africa.
Therefore, you do, and North Africa, you do get some Middle Eastern influence.
Well, because the idea of a Middle East is made up anyway.
Okay.
And it comes from a very...
You'd be telling me next Milton Keynes has been made up, which, to be honest, would be a nice thought. But...
Yeah, actually it would, but no. I've just been reading it in that book you got me for my birthday, that the concept of a Middle East is a bit like when they talk about the Midwest in America. It's based on a view of the world that wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
So the Middle East isn't in the east or in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a misnomer. And it's basically parts of Asia and parts of Northern Africa. It's not really a thing.
Right.
So
Glad
you're looking at North African dress.
Patel has a nice green dress, although green seems to be a running theme and not all of it is good. Uhura is wearing a horrible metallic green number.
That's not nice. I liked Lan's outfit, the red dress.
Yes, not bad. The bride is in putrid green.
Oh, with tentacles.
With tentacles. What's going on with that?
Or something. I don't know.
And Sam, bless him, is wearing a vile green suit.
Oh, it's awful.
That makes him look like a used car salesman. Who the hell would dress like that?
To be honest, I know we've been watching Fallout, but it looks like a suit that somebody in Fallout would wear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a ghoul, I should think. Anyway, Corby snaps and objects and then gets turned to a cute farting bulldog who's played by Luna. I don't know. Which, to be honest, is an improvement. We get the vomit-inducing vows, which they don't need the text for after all, apparently, so that wasn't an issue. And they finish with a quote about having a moon on the stick or something, whatever it was, which...
Yeah.
Yes, obviously they'd never watched Fist of Fun, but there we go.
You want the moon on a stick!
And this somehow snaps Chapel out of it. The Squire threatens everybody with death except the alien with no mouth, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, this bit... I quite like.
Yeah, I did like
but
that.
It takes a long time to get to this. But it's a big run-up to this funny bit.
I mean, the thing is, when we were watching it the first time, we enjoyed it, I think, because we were starting to pick up the clues. So, with the click of the fingers, putting them in the jar. And so we weren't watching it first time round as a stupid romance bollocks.
Well, I think we were, but the fact that it was stupid romance bollocks got then overwritten by the fellows. Oh, this is a Squire. God, this is quite. And then you get John Delancey turning up. Well, not physically, but his voice anyway. And it's like, oh, this is amazing. Not only have we got the Squire of Gothos, but also they're, as Lower Decks already did, making it canon that the Squire of Gothos is at Q.
Yeah.
So, and then you suddenly forget the fact that the rest of the episode is absolute pants. So the first time I watched this, at the end of it, I was like, big smile on my face. Oh, I really enjoyed that. No, I didn't. I enjoyed the last 5 minutes of it.
Whereas I think...
And of course, when you know that that's where the story's going, when you rewatch it, you go, oh, this is absolutely pants, isn't it?
Whereas I think for me, I was too busy trying to work out what was going on and who our flag means death tax man was. And do you see what I mean?
Reese Darby! The man has a name!
Anyway, for me, that was what was keeping me going, was who is he and what's going on? What's he playing at? Rather than, as in, what's his motivation? What's going on here?
And I do love his motivation, which turns out to be that Corby's bloody annoying.
Yeah, I
so,
love that.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I like Spock saying that. No, that makes sense.
Well, he's right.
Yeah. So for me, that's what engaged me first time round, was trying to work it out. And then thinking I was right, then being right, and then you're right. And it's, so it was that aspect of it. It's like when you've watched or read a whodunit, unless there's another layer to it, you don't get anything out of a rewatch.
Second watch, yeah.
Or a reread.
Exactly, yeah.
It doesn't make it bad as a whodunit. It just means that it's just a simple whodunit and there isn't more to it. And for me, that's what this was like. First time round, that's what it was like a whodunit, what's going on. I did genuinely enjoy it, but it does not have rewatch value.
Plus, just to add to the last 5 minutes being really good, we also get our first live-action Idosian, like Arex in the animated series, who is a bartender.
I love that.
She's called Kelsing in the script, not that she's ever named. I mean, obviously, it's a great idea for a bartender, isn't it, for mixing cocktails? And it's lovely to have an aspect of the animated series referenced in something other than Lower Decks, which did it regularly, to be fair. And then, just to add to the joy, Guinness turns out to have survived to the 24th century. Scotty orders a couple of pints. It's like, oh, excellent, brilliant. I don't think they poured the pint very well, though, but we won't worry about that.
They didn't look to be proper pints either.
No. There's more dancing, and Spock partners up with La'an to Wham of all things. Yeah. All the classics. I mean, what we really needed was some Buck Rogers Future Disco at this point.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
So that the last 5 minutes mostly is, but then suddenly handbrake. In a very jarring moment, Ortegas leaves and sees a Gorn. Although, what did Quinn say it was? Not Sensei Sisu or something like that. It was one of the.
It was
Kung Fu Panda.
Oogway.
That's it. It was a big turtle guy from Kung Fu Panda.
But you get a poor image. Sort of reflection thing.
And it's clearly a practical thing.
Yeah.
So they've purposely made it poor because otherwise you've gone, oh, that's a bad practical effect.
And when it fully materialises, it does just look like a Gorn. But earlier on, when Quinn showed me the picture of Oogway, I was like, yeah, totally see where you're going. Could see. Yeah. So could definitely see it. You need to Photoshop it somehow.
Yes, maybe. But tonally, the last season was bad tonally because we'd gone from dark gritty to amusing to naff singing to whatever. It was all over the place. But now, even within episodes, the tone is all over the place. And you just can't do this. It was a comedy episode right until the last 30 seconds when suddenly they're trying to make us feel that it's a dark and gloomy episode. It's like, no, that doesn't work.
No.
Ridiculous. Oh, the showmakers are very, very weird on this. That's all I can say. I mean, there's some good ideas. And I love the idea of bringing back the Squire Gophos, don't get me wrong. But it's just so badly implemented. I mean, literally, he doesn't turn up until a third of the way into the episode. Well, that's mad. Because up till then, you've just got to put up all this romance stuff. And not just the Spock Chapel stuff, which we've already been complaining about, but suddenly Uhura has to have romance. Oh, it's just really?
Well, I don't mind there being romance. For me, that's fine. I don't have a problem with there being romance. It's about what does the romance add and how does the romance make you feel? Now, Uhura is having fun with Betamax. So that to me is fine.
But it felt like, why do we need another new character? Oh, and we didn't mention the other new character that just gets dropped in this and will reappear. The ensign medical guy, who's nice, but it's like, why have we got this new guy?
Well,
we've got all these other characters that we need to be exploring, and we have 3 new characters in this for no damn good reason.
Well, no, there is a good reason why we have the ensign, is because someone had to replace Chapel.
Temporarily.
And then, so he then is saying he's going to be leaving, and they're saying, no, we need you to stay.
And the most annoying thing, the best new character they introduced in this, I don't think we see for the rest of the season. and that's the Arex character.
Oh, yeah.
Because they say, you can come on the Enterprise. Like, great, we're going to have an Adosian on the Enterprise. No, we don't see him again. Because presumably the effects were too expensive or something.
Yeah.
Boo! Talk about teasing us.
I don't mind introducing new characters. It's a starship. There's going to be crew rotations. People are going to leave and people are going to join. By the way, I'm sure I know the dude who plays the ensign.
Yeah, I must have made a note of him somewhere. Hang on, rewind. I don't think you do, actually. I think he's another really young one that's not been in anything much. He is Ensign Dana Gamble, who, yes, he's played by somebody called Chris Myers, who has been in nothing that we know, and barely anything at all.
I recognised him. Oh, well.
But he's a likeable enough character. Yeah. But it's like, we don't need another character. We've got enough characters that we haven't explored. Don't keep introducing new characters. It's bad enough that you're showing the original series characters, like Scotty. It's like, oh, really? Okay. But then you have all these new characters as well. It's like, we don't need this. And, well, I can't say anything more because spoilers, but yeah.
I don't mind them introducing new characters because I don't have a problem with the idea that there's more than about 3 because my brain's big enough.
Anyway. Strange New Worlds or same old guff? It's guff, isn't it, really? There's no two ways about it. Rhys Darby is inspired casting, I'll give him that. And John DeLance is a particularly welcome inclusion. But as I say, it's too late before they actually introduce Rhys Darby, and the rest of the story is bollocks. I'm sorry.
Whereas for me, first time round, as I said, it's like a whodunit that's a simple whodunit that doesn't have rewatch value. So this episode, for me, it doesn't have any rewatch value.
No, it's 95% guff and 5%, ooh, that was quite nice. And because they stick that at the end, you think, oh, that wasn't a bad episode. And then you realise, oh, no, it was 95% guff. So.
Whereas that wasn't my experience first time round.
No. But yeah, because you're left with a big smile on your face. But when you know that's coming...
It's not just because I was less on the smile on my face. It's because I was trying to work it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just that you're trying to work out and it's come to an answer that's logical. It's not only an answer that's logical, it's an answer that's like nice. Tapping into the original series.
But the working out bit... first time round was a pleasurable experience for me that obviously because I know the answer I can't have that pleasurable experience again. Do you see what I mean? Because I already know it. So for me it wasn't just the last 5 minutes that I liked first time round. First time round I liked the guessing aspect. But when you're rewatching it, there isn't any guessing. And I think as well that the fact that I was guessing enabled me to overlook the romance stuff because I wasn't viewing it as romance. I was looking for clues.
Yeah. But the point is, you don't even know there's something to be looking for clues about until a quarter of an hour in. I mean, that's the first time he appears.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a left turn until then. So you've literally got 15 minutes of nothing at all worth watching.
Yeah, I mean, the first 50 minutes, first time round...
Treading water would be polite
I was like, oh, God, not again. And then I was like, oh, there's another aspect here. There's something else. And then my interest, was piqued and that was fair enough.
The episode should have opened with Spock waking up in bed next to Chapel and going, what the hell's going on here? And then it would have been far more interesting. But no, you've got to have all the guff beforehand.
Well, you've got to introduce Corby.
Do you? Did we need Timu Colin Farrell? I don't think we did.
I don't know, but cause you've got to have that.
I mean, he was mentioned before, wrong. Which felt like a nice nod, but we didn't actually need him in this series.
No,
except we've got to somehow keep coming back to this Chapel Spock thing that just doesn't work. Wank.
I didn't mind it initially, and I wouldn't have minded it if it was brief. Do you know what I mean? And if it was just a sort of flash in the pan thing that might explain Chapel's response to Spock in the original series. In other words, if they'd had a brief fling, but it would have made more sense if he'd ended it, not her. So she was still left with feelings for him, if you see what I mean. Yeah, so first time round, you're right, I didn't like the first 15 minutes, but then I was guessing, and so I wasn't bothered by the romance stuff because that wasn't its job. It was giving me clues. But this time round, it just doesn't have any rewatch value.
Nope.
And it's because
doesn't have grates an awful lot more at rewatch.
Yes, and that's the problem because you're not guessing.
Yeah.
You haven't got a lens to view the romance through, so it's just bad romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guff. It is guff.
I didn't mind the Spock Chapel thing very initially, if you see what I mean, first time. But I'm fucking pissed off with it now. We don't need it. And I don't want Spock to have another romance now.
Which they're clearly trying to brew with La'an, aren't they? It's like, oh, for heaven's sake, really? Has he got to be in love all the time? I mean, seriously, that is not his characteristic.
No. No. Unless...
and nor is it a Vulcan characteristic. But then again, Vulcans just become evil bods now, haven't they? Thanks.
I don't know.
Don't get me started in Academy.
I mean, maybe it's going to be that, you know, in the final series of Strange New Worlds, it turns out he was a changeling. I don't fucking know.
Well, that would explain it, but yeah. Well, let's find out what everybody else thought. Having had our rant. Jeff Hyman had this to say. Why was it Trelane? Is this the worst nostalgia pandering thus far? Which, I mean, you could view it as. I mean, that'd be fair enough. It's, what does Lee call it? Member berries. Oh, look, it's right. But as I say, that was literally the saving grace of watching it for the first time. And then once you already know that it's coming, there's no reason at all to watch the episode. So I don't think that's the problem with the episode. The problem with the episode is all the rest of the stuff. Yeah. Anyway, let's find out what Sampo and Yona thought.
Hello.
Hello.
So we just watched Wedding Bell Blues.
What happened in it?
Well, this felt, I think, more like a first episode of a season than the last one because, you know, time had passed and we have knew what I'm guessing are recurring characters now. So this felt more like a fresh start. But I do think that the last episode was a better episode. So I guess it's better that it was the first episode or something.
Well, the cliffhanger.
Yes, I know. I mean, I would have preferred that the cliffhanger would have been resolved last season, so we could have started fresh. So to be honest, the first third of this episode, it really didn't have me at all. I mean, this was like they're focusing on the Spock Chapel love life. And at first, when Spock didn't remember the truth and was going along with the wedding, it was like, this is so awkward. But I think the episode did pick up once Spock actually started remembering, and he and Colby, was it? They started working together.
Yeah, first, well, I thought it would go as a fighting episode, but it was so much more fun to watch them working together instead of fighting. I think it was clever.
And of course, I mean, this episode had like 2 extra meta layers on top of it because you don't know who the Squire of Gothos is or who Q is. So, but this was basically a remake of an original series episode because it used the same character, the superpowered child thing. And it also confirmed a fan theory that it was actually a member of the Q Continuum, which is another species of god-powered aliens. But I think that's unnecessary fan service, but clearly if you don't know, it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, you never stop amazing me with your details and your memory as well.
Yeah, well, I did have to check that, okay, this Colby guy is someone who's Nurse Chapel's ex-fiancé in the original series, so that I had to check that I didn't remember by heart, which I really hope that means that this is the end of the Spock-Chapel relationship because that it was getting a bit grating.
What else? My thoughts went to Shining when we saw the entity serving as a bartender, asking Spock if he's been a dull boy or not.
That's where your brain went, and that was a good call. And we should mention that Rhys Darby, the guy who played the entity, I mean, he's a real fun actor, and it was nice seeing him. I mean, played the role really well.
He did.
I still think it's a bit silly, but he embraced the silliness.
Yeah, but the good question is that do we need this episode? Well, the option is that they would have told a different story instead of this one. Why make the same story again?
I agree. I mean, I like Strange New Worlds a lot more when it's doing its own thing instead of rehashing old original series episodes, which... and of course, I assume there's a new audience who watches these, who doesn't watch the original series. I don't know. Is
it so that they want to lure people to watch the old series?
I don't think there's any money for Paramount in getting people to watch the old series. But on the other hand, I don't see it as a big marketing point. After 50, 60 years, come and see the Squire of Gothos again, the big return. Not exactly Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, not exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the episode won me over, but I can see the flaws in it. Let's put it like that. The problem is I really enjoy watching these characters interact, even when the situations are silly and the plot's a bit stupid. And I really wish that the scripts were a bit better.
Scripts.
Yeah, I mean, of the episodes.
Yeah.
But I guess it's better not to overthink it, because I mean, overthinking is a good way of talking yourself out of enjoying something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in the end, I had fun, so I guess that's
what matters.
Exactly.
I too had fun.
What more needs to be said then, I guess? Well, okay, one small thing. I think it's nice that they made it canon that Pike uses a lot of hair products. But okay, until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, although I do think Yonna made a very good point. Why did they need this episode? Why make this one when they could have done something else?
That is a very good question. Yes. I mean, to be fair, they're not making a big thing of this being the Squire of Gothos because they never actually say this is Squire of Gothos. And even Q, no, obviously nobody says, well, this is Q because they don't know who Q is yet. But those are things that only mean anything if you've watched it before.
Yeah.
But they can't make the whole episode ride upon it because they never actually spell out who this person is. So,
Yeah.
But it's a bit grating. Blimmin' heck. But it is interesting to see the reaction of somebody who's not steeped in the original series. And she enjoyed it well enough. So
Yeah, and went to a place, the Shining place with the bartender.
yeah, I can see that. Yeah, they just needed a picture on the back with Pike on it or something. Yes, that would have been interesting.
And then, at some point, they should have got Corby going around in a little car.
Yeah. And the turbolift doors open and blood just gushes out. Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, the reference to the hair products was nice as well.
Yes.
I did like that.
Yeah, that was good. Yes. Thank you.
Yo. I'm not sure Llama God's going to be keen on this, but let's find out.
Log, Scott Dick, Fixie Shear, Fixie Shear. It's a nice day for a shine wedding. Now, this episode of Strange New Worlds had something in common with the episode that we recently covered over on Babylon 5, which was, of course, Grail. And what it has in common is that it wastes a perfectly good guest star on a rather undemanding, underwritten role. Yes, I'm talking about Rhys Darby here. Rhys Darby, he's great. I love him. I love him in Our Flag Means Death. If you've not seen it, go see it. I was expecting great things from him in this episode, and, he's here, isn't he? I guess he's here. Again, as with David Warner in Grail, he's doing his best with the material that he's given, but the material that he's given is so slight, and, it's just not great. For me, this is, I'm sure you picked up by now, not a particularly good episode, and I'm not sure why not. I've said previously that I really liked the wild swings in tone that the Strange New Worlds had delivered in previous seasons, going from comedy to drama to horror and then back again. Generally, I've kind of liked these, but this week it just doesn't work, and I don't know why. I don't know whether it's because the previous episode, Hegemony Part 2, was just so serious and so dark that the swing to broad comedy, which is what this is just far too wild to actually work in the first place, or whether it's just that it just isn't a good episode. I don't know. Maybe they need an episode to be in between the previous one and this one, or maybe not. I don't know. I think generally the real reason is that this just isn't a good episode. It's just a comedy episode. There's nothing else to it. It is just a big farce. Everyone really in this episode is playing it far too goofy. No one's actually playing it particularly seriously or playing it particularly straight. And I think maybe for something like this, you need a straight man for it to work. You need someone who's just reacting to the absurdity of everything that they're seeing around them. Compare, for example, the episode from season 1 where Mbenga was the only one not affected by everyone playing fantasy roles. That kind of worked because of that, but because he was basically seeing from the audience's point of view, seeing that it's all gone a bit crazy and trying to respond to that. Whereas in this episode, it just doesn't quite work. I mean, yes, we do have Spock and Corby here, who end up being the ones not affected, but Ethan Peck just doesn't quite work. If this had been Leonard Nimoy as Spock, I think he'd have done really well as a straight man, because Leonard Nimoy could do that really, really well. He was really good at being stoic. Ethan Peck is not quite so stoic, he's not quite so buttoned up and not quite so controlled, basically. And yeah, that's the type of Spock that he's been playing, which is fine. He's playing younger Spock. For the most part, that kind of works really well. But here in this episode, you needed someone who was able to be a bit more straight-faced about things, and he's just not good at doing that. And unfortunately, Timu Colin Farrell, who is playing Corby, isn't good enough at that either, because he's just playing it all a bit goofy as well himself. It just doesn't work really well. He's not playing it particularly straight. He's just not really good at that. I mean, it's good that we got to establish the character of Corby. It's good that we get to meet him for the first time, I guess, given that we met him. Well, we didn't really meet him, did we? We met an android replica of him in the original series. But I guess it's good to meet him. But as an actor, I mean, I guess he's fine. I guess he's fine in other scenes, but it just doesn't work really well. I guess for continuity reasons, it's good to see the relationship with Chapel unfold here. And yes, it does happen a bit quick, doesn't it? But I don't know, that doesn't feel unrealistic to me. There's plenty of people in real life that I know that kind of thing has happened to, swinging wildly from one relationship to another. I'm not talking from first-hand experience of myself, obviously. It does happen, and I think that speaks to the sort of character that this Chapel is, and makes sense why she was with Spock and then wasn't. There's just a lot going on with her there. She's just a bit immature emotionally and relationship-wise, I guess, so yeah, it kind of explains it. But hopefully this will put all the Spock Chapel stuff to bed by now, because there is a bit of closure in this episode, which I guess we can be thankful at the very least. But I think one of the other things of the episode is Corby is kind of the focus of this episode, because it turns out that the Rhys Darby character, I'm not going to call him Trelane, he's never actually called that in the actual episode, although clearly that's who he's meant to be. But his character was just annoyed by how intelligent and handsome and perfect Corby was, and that's why he's doing the whole thing. That's just not really a good motivation. I don't like that as a motivation. It's not like the original series where the Enterprise crew has unwittingly wandered into the domain of some super powerful alien. Yeah, that kind of thing makes sense. This is just this character kind of just turning up and just having a laugh for no reason, being very, very Q-like for no particular reason. And Q himself, when we met Q, there was always a reason for them being around. This is just for the sake of it, which just doesn't give any real drama. There's no real stakes here. There's just nothing going on, nothing to anchor it to. So yeah, I don't know. And yes, there's the reveal that if this is Trelane, then his parents were indeed the Q. Yeah, sure, fair enough, whatever. I think that was established in one of the Peter David books at some point. Yeah, and I know they're not actually canon. This canonizes it, but yeah, whatever. It's just kind of a cameo for the sake of a cameo, and again, there's just not a lot to it. There's just not a lot to this, unfortunately. The problem is this is all played very, very broad, and the music doesn't help either. The music for this episode is very much, this is a comedy episode music, and just doesn't sell anything, just leaves it feeling so empty and hollow and just with no actual substance. I think maybe what we'd actually need if this episode was for there to be a sort of more serious B-plot. I mean, sure, you can have the wedding as the A-plot, but a slightly more serious B-plot going on, or something. Just something, or some way the actors are happening to act as a foil to the wackiness, and it's just not here. Even though I've not been one of the people who's been against the Spock-Chapel relationship, this episode isn't really the best coda they could have come up with to it at all, so yeah, not a fan of this one. On the plus side though, because I mentioned it last episode, I have watched the first 3 episodes of Academy now, and I won't go into it too much, but thankfully it's not realising all my fears so far. It is pretty diverse and hopeful, that's the main thing. Academy is hopeful. I'm not going to spoil anything else or discuss it, or see if you cover it later in the future, but yeah, there's a sense of hope to it and diversity, and that is good. Sure, there's a lot of high school drama to it, but it is set in Academy, so you're either going to like that or not, but it still feels very Trek to me, and so I'm appreciating that so far. But we'll see how that one goes. So yes, as ever, I'll be interested to find out what everyone else made of this episode in particular. I hope eventually we'll find ourselves in a reality where we're no longer at the capricious whims of the all-powerful, or those who wish they were. And until next time, glory to you and your cast.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, you went to a Temu Colin Farrell place as well. Yeah, it is weird how the android Corby wasn't as Irish as Tato's, isn't it? I mean, it's just strange. They got that android so wrong, clearly. Yeah, and the music was bad as well. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole list of things that are bad about this episode, and the music was down there. But you're right, and that's another parallel with Grails as well, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. And yeah, that's another point as well, though, that the whole Q thing in Next Gen, there was a point to it. There were stakes. What I get.
Well, sometimes it was Cupid, and you went, "Why have I just watched this episode?"
Yeah, well, yeah.
So it was variable.
Okay, but yeah, it's true. There weren't really any stakes here.
No,
there wasn't a purpose to it. But then I suppose there isn't in Squire, is there? Really?
No.
Fair enough.
I mean, Squire had the novelty value at least of the first time they were doing it. So
yeah.
Hey ho, let's find out what Purry thought.
Hello, Args. Purry here to talk about Wedding Day Blues. Now, Wedding Bells Blues? Can't remember. The one with a wedding. A bit of an odd tonal shift to go straight from the sort of exciting conclusion of an action-packed finale to the sort of comedy episode about a wedding and featuring Trelane. Now, I can't fault the actor. The guy from Our Flag Means Death, isn't it? Can't fault the actor for his portrayal of Trelane. He was great fun. I really can't fault it. As a comedy episode, it was okay. It had some laughs. But I think my best sum up is actually Pike's near the end, when he kind of jumps up on the stage after Trelane's been taken away by his parents, and going, that was weird. Which is really my view of the episode. It's got some things, like, say, we get introduced to Roger Corby, who... until this point, we've only seen him as the guy who made his own robot wife on the planet of robot duplicates, back in What Are Little Girls Made Of, and obviously he looks quite different here and significantly more Irish. But no fault, as I say, quite a likeable actor. You have a bit Chapel, again, probably like yourselves, I'm not entirely engaged in the Chapel-Spock relationship, so that's a bit... it's overall, so there's that. But, like I say, the actor for Trelane kind of carried a lot of it through. It's just really a bit of a nothing, for all that we do have, again, we've got the introduction of Ortega's brother, who's going to be a bit of a significant thing. And there is that weird tonal change at the end. Again, we have a basic bit where everyone's having a nice dance. And then all of a sudden... we go to Ortega's having, flashbacks of being mauled by a giant lizard. And similarly, there are some other parts, like I say, that I quite like the land dancing stuff. I can't help but feel that maybe this is just the actor who knew some dancing, wanting to get some of that in. Or they knew how it worked, so she's kind of doing that. And again, some quite... I like the way that her character has moved on a bit from being quite so angry through this experience. So all these things kind of work. But yeah, it feels a bit of a nothing. And in limited number, a series with such a limited number of episodes, you kind of take the time out in this one. And bearing in mind you have to Trelane there without him ever calling himself Trelane because continuity. So you could have used another godlike being, but it's sort of a reference for a reference sake, and it really gives you more trouble. And similarly, yes, I know there's a lot of fan service in having the other glowy cloud voiced by John Delancey, which was a nice touch. I remember when I watched it, I went, oh, that's neat. But it is just, it's jangling the keys at me a little. And yeah, it's considering, like I say, for the short number of episodes, I don't really know why it was necessary to have a funny wedding episode with Trelane, and Trelane in particular. Just, it could have been another trickster, it could have been something else, but to kind of rehash an old character just because you get the references and seems like you're trying to engage me by saying, look, here's some old stuff you like, to hopefully cover up some of the weaknesses. And I think, particularly on the second watch, I kind of found it wasn't nearly as satisfying. So yeah, overall it wasn't, again, there's things I liked. I like the fact that the Enterprise had to sit there and for 3 months refit, which also explains everyone's haircuts. And interesting one, Scotty not drinking. It's funny for us because that's, again, quite a fun reference, because obviously he's an absolute alky by Kirk's time. So what made him, was it Pike's time? Was it, or was it being under Kirk that's made him drink so heavily? So there's that to look forward to, I suppose. And I did like, the weird outfits at the wedding. I like the fact that it was a mix of dress uniforms and people dressing up, and not just the women. Sam Kirk was also in a suit. When Scotty had his kilt one, which I thought worked quite well. Again, it's just those are nice callbacks. But yeah, overall, I think the episode was trying to fool me with nostalgia into liking an episode more than I should. But yeah, so all that remains for me to say is to keep up the good work. I also look forward to the podcast and I hope to feedback to the next one. But until then, bye for now.
Bye! Oh, that's really interesting, because they literally did fool me into liking it the first time round. Because I was like, yeah, big smile on my face at the end of it. And then when you rewatch it and realise actually it's just like the last 5 minutes that's any good. Yeah. Fool me once.
And lawn dancing has become an alternative to line dancing.
Dancing,
yes. Lawn dancing. Yeah, I like that phrase. I'm going to be using that. And yeah, you're right. It's not. You're making the same point as Yona. Why was this necessary? Why was it needed? But you're also making another point, Pari, which I think is important, is that you've got a limited number of episodes. So why have you wasted one?
Yeah.
Because I don't see what we gain from this.
No. Absolutely nothing. Other than you could argue this at least is the end of the Chapel-Spock relationship. But that notion's never started.
Well, but also, they've just spent 3 months apart, and what they could have done is just had a mention of something. Do you know what I mean? They didn't need anything more than that.
Yes. So. Pants. It is pants. There we go. One good episode, one bad episode. Let's see what the future has to bring us on Wednesday the 11th of February. We should be covering Shuttle to Kenfori, which has got to be one of the most rubbish Trek titles ever.
Who's Kenfori?
It's a place.
Right.
But yes, it kind of makes me, pine for the awful Latin Deep Space Nine titles.
Arnhem, Innim, Silent Ledges or whatever.
At least they had a bit of class about it. Shuttle to Kenfori. I mean, what the hell? Anyway. Next week on Tuesday the 3rd, we'll be covering the Babylon 5 episode Eyes in the Dark. Oh, no, we're not going there. But we did promise we'd give our views on Starfleet Academy. Just to warn you, if you're a fan, you probably want to just finish listening now, because we are going to be kicking the dead cats. And no, we will not be covering this series, because, yes, it yanked all my chains. But there we are, surprise, surprise.
I think the thing for me is the first episode showed promise.
I liked the first episode. It was teasing me, that was. It's like, here's what you could have won. It was back to bullseye territory.
And then the second episode was a lot more...
awful.
Well, but it was a lot more around the school, for one of it. And I was like...
Not just about the school, but it's done the same thing as Discovery did with Michael. It seems to be all about the one character. Yeah. And I don't like that. Doesn't work for Trek. Trek should be always a... What's the phrase?
Ensemble show. But then you complain when there's too many people in the ensemble.
Yeah. An ensemble show where it's the same 6 or 8 characters that you're looking at, not constantly introducing new ones. That isn't an ensemble show. That's just a random bloody bag of shit that you're shaking every week. I'm sorry.
I don't see it like that. I quite like having your main characters and the odd recurring character.
The odd recurring character is fine, but literally in this episode of Stranger Worlds, we were introduced to 3 new characters, only one of which was mildly interesting, and we're never going to see her again.
Well, yeah, but I liked one of the others who we are going to see again, but not necessarily in every episode.
Anyway, back to kicking Starfleet Academy.
Sorry, but with Starfleet Academy, so for me, like the first episode, second episode, didn't like it as much, but I thought, well, fair enough, there's got to be at least one episode that's very much about being an academy.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
It's kind of in the title.
Yeah.
Although I did think that, like, initially the premise was like, oh, the Academy's going to be travelling in space. This might work.
Yeah.
And then they land on Earth.
But then the third episode was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's all sports teams.
Yeah,
and
my
life. No, that was in my childhood. It left me with trauma.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'm not watching it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, there's 2 major problems. One was something I knew would be a problem when they talked about the concept back in the 1980s, that it was going to be based on Earth. And I thought they got round that in the first episode, but no, they then they then set it on Earth for the next 2, and it's like, oh, please. There's no space stuff in your Star Trek, then you're getting your Star Trek wrong as far as I'm concerned. Episode 2 was boldly going absolutely nowhere for an hour. And it's based in a school, which, as you say, just yanks our trains.
The basing it on Earth doesn't bother me in the same way as people said the same thing about Deep
Space Nine.
But
I mean, it's spoiling. Well, the difference with Deep Space Nine, it was in space, right by a damn great big wormhole into another bit of space we'd never been to before. So they built in a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
This series can't have, unless they go back into space again, which I'm sure they probably will. But I'm sorry, I'm just checking out at this point.
So with me, the being on Earth didn't bother me too much, because I thought, well, maybe they're going to go for the whole sort of, Doctor Who unit thing, if you see what I mean, where the aliens are going to come to us, and then and so you still got your aliens and all the rest of it. It's just happening in a slightly different way. But I'm not doing the school thing. I'm just no.
And then problem 2 for me is the same problem with Discovery was to begin with, where it's all about a central character, and central character is all about angst. And I'm not interested in angst. I want my central character to be fun, somebody that I'd like to be, somebody that I'd identify with. And neither of the 2 characters in Discovery and Academy are characters I've got any desire to be whatsoever. I mean, here he's a moody teen. Oh, joy.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a good plot reason to be Moody Team. Don't get me wrong. They've
given him a decent backstory.
Done the groundwork for it, fair enough. But I don't want to spend any time with him. It's just, for heaven's sake.
And of the rivalry with the other dude, and it's just,
yeah.
be roommates and all that.
And it's all so jockey and horrible.
I hate it. It's all wrong.
Why would you do that with Star Trek, for heaven's sake? I mean, admittedly, there was always a bit of that with, what were they called? With not Tom Paris in charge of them, not Alpha Flight. That's Canadian
Red
Avengers.
Squad.
Red Squad. It's basically Red Squad, the series, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't need that.
No, it's just no. I mean, I think for me, if what somebody very specifically wants is a show about teenagers in school that happens to have a sort of vague Star Trek sheen, then they'll like it.
We did not need Star Trek Grange Hill. That's the bottom line. And there was not even any Zamo in this, so yeah.
No, I mean, Grange Hill had better plots than this.
Yes.
I mean, it had a kid who died of a drug overdose. Yeah. I mean,
Zamo!
No.
Say no, no. Just say no. Just say no, no. Just say no.
Oh, frack. Yes. I mean, there were some interesting characters in the mix, don't get me wrong. I love the Doctor, obviously, but rather like Voyager, he's sadly barely in it, and he's the best thing about it.
The one I liked, who was one of the kids, was the one who's the hologram.
Yeah, no, she was really interesting.
I liked her.
And if they concentrated a lot more on her, and the Klingon guy, he was pretty good as well. Yeah. But yeah, they were just like saying, here's these interesting characters, but don't worry about them, we're not going to be focusing on them. It's like, what? They focus on them, they're the interesting ones, not these two-dimensional, honky, boring, and everybody's so bloody good-looking and...
Except they're not, though. I mean, the main guy...
Traditionally good-looking.
Yeah, but the main guy... Well,
he's got no beard, I know.
Yeah,
so
insufficient beards, but also he reminded me a bit of a de-aged Seth MacFarlane.
Oh, my life. Yes, we didn't need that. Yeah, so ultimately, I mean, if I hear from people, suddenly this season got a lot better, I might...
Dip in again. I might. If somebody says, yes, it has got some school episodes, but there's other good ones as well.
Oh, and the bad guy from the first episode was just like Mr. Bad Guy. I mean, he had no dimensions to him whatsoever. So yeah, as I say, we might dip back into it if people say it's improved, but we're not. Otherwise, we're not touching it with a barge pole. No. It was every bit as bad as I feared it would be.
And I had hoped it wouldn't be like this.
Yeah,
but sadly it was.
The worst thing about it was the fact that they teased us with that first episode. Yeah, it was like, don't worry, it's going to be in space after all. It's like, okay.
And also
but then they land on Earth.
But also there were adult characters in that first episode who were really
I like
good.
The captain as well.
Yeah.
There's been a lot. It's a real shame that character's got a lot of grief already, and for no good reason. No. I mean, I kind of like the way she sits in a captain's chair. I'd probably do that, to be honest. Yeah. I thought she was a lovely mumsy figure. That's exactly what you want in this sort of series. But again, she's not the central character. It's this boring dude. Too many boring dudes on TV.
Yeah. But I think for me, it's like, we've got some interesting adult characters here. So if they're going to focus not just on the kids, but there's going to do stuff with the adults as well, and the kids just, that's okay. I would be all right with that, but that's not how it went.
Plus, at no point did they explain how the hell a Klingon and a Jem'Hadar mated. I mean, that makes no sense at all, but never mind. That's the least of the series.
I mean, to be fair, Gina, I don't know if you pronounce it Yashiri or Yashir, but anyway, she's a really good comedian, and she's like a proper hard.
I like the character, but it's like, just make her don't make her half Jem'Hadar. I mean, that you've just shot yourself in the foot with that, because you've now got to explain why you've done that. Whereas if you just made her another alien, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
idiots.
Isn't there another alien race that's really strong besides Vulcans and Klingons?
There's the Nausicaans.
Yeah.
She could have been half Nausicaan, half Klingon.
Yeah.
Why not do that? Eh? No, because we're nodding to Deep Space Nine. Yeah, but you've never clearly watched Deep Space Nine to know what actually Jem'Hadar are. Yeah. It's a bit like Picard and that. No, we're not going back. We're not going back. Anyway, that's enough ranting for one episode. Till the next time we're ranting in your ears. Take care. Cheery bye.
Bye-bye.
The Star Trek theme was composed by Alexander Courage and reimagined for Strange New Worlds by Jeff Russo.
Any music used in this podcast is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group which you're welcome to join.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Find us on Blue Sky at broadcastammo.bsky.social.
And revorg.bsky.social.
Shut it down!
No.